Assalamu alaikum. Hope all of you are fine. This is our next lecture of the lymphoid tissue, that is the histology of the thymus gland. In this lecture, we'll discuss the histological features of the thymus, the thymic epithelial cells, then the blood-thymus barrier, involution of the thymus, then the histological features of the palatine and the pharyngeal tonsils, and then the malt and the gut. The thymus gland is a bilobed gland which is located in the superior mediastinum behind the sternum. And this gland is a specialized lymphoid organ and it is related to the immune system. It attains its peak development during the youth, and histologically it is consists of the two lobes, and each lobe is made up of an outer cortex and inner medulla. The thymus gland is considered as a primary or a central lymphoid organ as it is involved in the maturation of the undifferentiated lymphocytes, that is the T lymphocytes. So undifferentiated lymphocytes which are formed from the bone marrow, they are transported by the blood into the thymus gland, and here they are differentiated into the T lymphocytes, and then they are transported to the various lymphoid organs. The thymus gland has a dual embryonic origin. Its epithelium is unique and it is developed from the endoderm of the embryo's third and fourth pharyngeal pouches. Now, this is a section, a histological section of photomicrograph of the thymus gland. The outer, there is a connective tissue capsule of the thymus gland, and this capsule penetrates into the parenchyma and divides it into the incomplete lobules. And the blood vessels, they are transported inside the substance or the parenchyma of the gland through these septas or the trabeculae. Now there is a continuation between the cortex and the medulla of the adjoining lobules. So each lobule has a peripheral darker zone and an inner lighter zone. The darker area, the outside of the darker zone, is called the cortex, and the inner lighter area is the medulla. Now, the cortex is rich in the small lymphocytes, and the medulla, the small lymphocyte, therefore, it stains darker than the medulla. Now, you can see here clearly the outer darker cortex and inner lighter medulla, and these are the lobules which are separated by the inner septas. Now, this is a higher magnification of showing you the small lymphocytes in the thymic cortex, which are also called the thymocytes or the lymphoblasts. So, it's a population of the T lymphoblasts, which are called the thymocytes. There are also the macrophages, which are present in the stroma of the epithelial reticular cells. Now, these epithelial reticular cells, they have a large euchromatic nuclei and they are diverse morphologically, but generally they are either squamous or stellate with long processes. This is showing you the thymic epithelial cells. These are the thymic epithelial cells with these tonofilaments like structures, and they are joined together with the adjacent epithelial cells with the desmosome junctions. Now, this arrangement of this epithelial cells, thymic epithelial cells, when they make a collect a group of the mature, immature lymphocytes or the lymphoblast, and they mature inside this arrangement. This special arrangement is called the cytoreticulum, and these cytoplasmic bundles of the intermediate keratin filaments or the tonofilaments, they give the evidence that these are cells, they are of the epithelial origin. So these junctions, they help these lymphocytes or the lymphoblasts to develop into the mature lymphocytes. So this arrangement is called the cytoreticulum. Now, this is the photomicrograph showing you the medulla of the thymus gland. Now, this medulla is lighter stained than the cortex, and it also contains the cytoreticulum like the cortex. And their cells, they are less densely packed T lymphocytes, and there are special structures which are present, which are characteristic of the thymus gland. These eosinophilic structures, whirl-like structures, they are called the Hessel's corpuscles. So this feature make it distinguishes the thymus gland from the other lymphoid tissue. So thymic corpuscles, they consist of the epithelial reticular cells which are arranged concentrically, and they are filled with the keratin filaments, and sometimes they are also calcified. Now, what is these Hessel's corpuscles? Now, you can see here clearly these eosinophilic whirl-like, onion whirl-like structures, which are called the Hessel's corpuscles or the thymic corpuscle bodies. So, they are found in the medulla of the human thymus, and they are eosinophilic, concentrically arranged, and they have also the reticular cells. And these concentric corpuscles, they are composed of central mass consisting of more granular cells and capsule formed of the epithelioid cells. Their size may vary, and they can be spherical or ovoid in their shape, and they have the keratohyalin and bundles of the cytoplasmic fibers. Now, these Hessel's corpuscles, they are seen more in the aged uh, thymus glands rather than the young glands. And also, the calcification takes place in these Hessel's corpuscles, but the function of these Hessel's corpuscle is not certain. Now, this is the showing you the blood thymus barrier. This is a capillary endothelium of the lined by the continuous endothelium, and it is surrounded by these epithelial cells which are joined together by the desmosome junctions. Now, this feature, it makes creates a blood thymus barrier, and it prevents the most circulating antigens from leaving this microvasculature and entering the thymus cortex. So as you know that in the thymic cortex, the lymphoblasts or the thymocytes, they are immature. They are small lymphoblasts or lymphocytes which are yet have to be matured. So this microcirculation is the antigens, they cannot cross this blood thymus barrier, and so these developing T cells or the lymphocytes, they are um, protected from these circulating antigens. So no such barrier exists in the medulla of the thymus. So there they are mature T lymphocytes, they are present. So they exit the thymus they via the venules in the zone. The thymus has no afferent lymphatic vessels because as the thymus gland is not involved in the filtration of the lymph as the lymph nodes. So lymph nodes, they filter the lymph, but the thymus gland, it is related to the maturation of the T lymphocytes. So there are no afferent lymphatic vessels in the thymus gland. Now, another unique feature or a characteristic feature of the thymus gland is the involution of the thymus gland. That is gradual, and it is non-reversible change, and it is associated with the hormones and also with the age. Now, this is showing you the different uh, uh, thymus glands at various ages. So, newborn thymus gland, and this is the 70 years old thymus gland. So this is a normal physiological process, and it is age related, that it regresses, involutes, and their changes occurs in the histologically also. The cortical lymphocytes, they shrink, the thymic globules thinning and irregularity of the cortex takes place, and then there is the blurring of the corticomedullary junction, and instead of the lymphocytes there is depletion of the T lymphocytes, and they are areas of the cortex, they are infiltrated by the adipose tissue. So there is increased prominence or hyperplasia of the medullary epithelial cells also. So at the old age, there is the depletion of the T cells, and there is infiltration of the adipose tissue in the thymus gland. Now, the another lymphoid organs or the lymphoid tissues, they are the tonsils. There are two palatine tonsils, the right and the left. They are simply called the tonsils. So, palatine tonsils, they are present on the posterior surface of the mouth between the anterior and the posterior pillars of the soft palate and the lateral wall of the pharynx. So they are the aggregates of the lymphoid tissue which are present on in this area, in the oropharynx area. Then there are another type of the tonsils which are called the lingual tonsils, which are present at the base or the posterior surface of the tongue. So these are the palatine tonsils, the lingual tonsils, and then there are the pharyngeal tonsils which are present in the nasopharynx, in the superior wall of the nasopharynx. They are the posterior nares. So superior wall of the or the roof of the nasopharynx, the pharyngeal tonsils, they are present. Now these pharyngeal tonsils, these right and left palatine tonsils, then the lingual tonsils, and the other these tubal tonsils. Together they form a Walder's lymphatic ring or a Walder's tonsillar ring. Now this Walder's tonsillar ring or a Walder's lymphatic ring is guards the nasopharynx area and the oropharynx area. So it's lining the oropharynx and the nasopharynx. So this Walder's lymphatic ring is a first line of the defense against the microbes entering through the nasal cavity or the oral cavity. Now, histologically, the palatine tonsils, they are also made up of the aggregate of the lymphoid tissues, which are called the lymphoid follicles. And they have a single crypt, which is called a tonsillar crypt, which is very distinguished in the feature of the palatine tonsils. But the characteristic feature or the identifying point of this palatine tonsils is that these lymphoid follicles, they are covered by the epithelium, which are the stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium in case of the palatine tonsils. So as you know, it's easy to remember, as you know that the inner lining of the oral cavity is all stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium except the hard palate. So so you can remember it that it's present in the oral cavity, oropharynx. So its lining is also stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. And below is the lymphoid follicles. As you so know that these lymphoid follicles or the lymphatic nodules with or without germinal centers, they are present. So you can identify a lymphoid follicle with overlying stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium, and if you can visualize also the tonsillar crypt, then you can say that it is a palatine tonsil. This is a higher magnification showing you the stratified squamous epithelium, and these are the lymphoid tissue. Now, how would you differentiate a palatine tonsil with a pharyngeal tonsil? Now, as you know that pharyngeal tonsils, they lines the nasopharynx, and they are present on the roof of the nasopharynx. So, as you know, the respiratory epithelium is the pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium. So the pharyngeal tonsils, they have a lining of the pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium, and then there is below them there is the lymphoid follicles with or without the germinal centers, as you can see here. So palatine tonsils are differentiated from these pharyngeal tonsils because of their epithelium. So in palatine tonsils, the epithelium is stratified squamous non-keratinized, But as the pharyngeal tonsils, they are lining the nasopharynx, so they have also the respiratory epithelium, that is the pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium, covering these aggregates of the lymphoid tissue or the lymphatic nodules. No, enlargement of these pharyngeal tonsils, they are called or the inflammation of the pharyngeal tonsils, they are called the adenoids. And simply you can, the palatine tonsils, if they are enlarged more in the children, they are simply called the tonsillitis, and tonsillectomy is done for them. So, but the pharyngeal tonsils inflammation, it is called the adenoids. Now there are certain circulating or the free lymphoid follicles. They are free lymphocytes. They are present in the blood also, but the aggregates of the lymphoid follicle, they are present throughout the gut, which is called the gut-associated lymphoid tissue. That is, they are present in the whole of the intestine and in the lamina propria, or they are also called the mucosa-associated lymphoid tissue or the MALT, that is mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. So aggregates or the isolated patches of these lymphoid follicles, they are present in the lamina propria throughout the GIT tract. But they are more prominent in the ileum, where they are lot of these lymphoid follicles, they are present, and there are typically there here they are called the Peyer's patches. So they are basically the gut associated lymphoid tissue or the mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. So this is all about the lymphoid tissue. We have discussed in the previous lecture the histology of the lymph node and the spleen, and also the various form of the lymphocytes, their role and the mechanisms of the immune system. And this is then the other organ, this thymus, and the different types of the tonsils and the malt or the gall. So if you have any queries, then you can ask me on the WhatsApp group. Thank you.